Hey guys, check out Italian Wine Unplugged 2.0, brought to you by Mama Jumbo Shrimp, a fully updated second edition, reviewed and revised by an expert panel of certified Italian wine ambassadors from across the globe. The book also includes an edition by Professore Attilio Scienza, Italy's leading vine geneticist. To pick up a copy today, just head to Amazon.com or visit us at MamaJumboShrimp.com.
Italian Wine Podcast is delighted to present the series of highlights from the 2022 Wine2Wine Business Forum, focusing on wine communication and bringing together the most influential speakers in the sectors to discuss the hottest topics facing the wine industry today. Don't forget to tune in every Thursday at 2 p.m. Central European Time or visit wine2wine.net for more information.
Good evening to everyone. Miriam Masciarelli from Masciarelli Winery. I'm going to introduce you Konstantin Baum, the youngest master of wine of Germany. He's importer of small artisanal winery from Europe, also California. Educator, journalist, contributor. He has an agency of communication also, and especially he's one of the greatest storyteller, communicator in the wine industry, especially on the YouTube world that we are speaking before, that YouTube in confront of the other social media is more entertainment and less socializing. So it's quite difficult, no? And it's a target for the people that want to listen to you. So you are going to show us some numbers and some data and the world of YouTube. Thank you.
Thank you. Thanks a lot. Hello, everyone. I'm very happy to be here. Flew in yesterday evening and, well, when you're in Italy, you feel at home right away. I do, at least. I'm hoping that this is going to work. We had a few technical issues. Wine on keyboards don't do good things usually. So we'll see. But I hope this is going to work. I just briefly want to say about this session. So I want to share my own YouTube journey with you guys so that you can kind of see what I did. To be honest, I haven't quite figured out why my YouTube channel kind of works. So I won't be able to give you the whole recipe, but I can at least share with you a little bit of information on YouTube and on the way I did it. The other thing I want to mention right before we start, I'm not an influencer. I do quite a lot of different things, as Miriam said early on. I see myself, when it comes to YouTube, as a content creator. So I don't want to influence anyone. That's not my primary role on the platform. It's more about creating content that is engaging and educational and entertaining for my audience. So I want to make sure that people get interested in wine rather than kind of creepily try to influence them to do anything that they don't want to do. So to begin with, just a few things on YouTube in general, the platform. So YouTube was founded in 2005, not so long ago. So I was in love with the platform pretty much straight away. I really liked it. I really liked the format of being able to pick and select different pieces of content and watch them and consume them. YouTube was then sold quite quickly for $1.65 billion to Google, today known as Alphabet. And people were kind of going like, well, this is crazy. This is a crazy number for a company that is barely 1 year old. But today, or last year, YouTube generated almost $30 billion in income. So the business has done quite well, and I think it was a good investment by Google to get into YouTube, to jump into YouTube. What is also maybe relevant to this audience is that wine and video content kind of worked pretty early on. So most of you probably know Gary Vaynerchuk, and he was kind of the pioneer in this segment. He wasn't really on YouTube in the beginning, at least. He was more focused on his own website and creating video content there. But I was pretty hooked on Gary's stuff, even though I didn't always agree with him, and sometimes we had conversations going back and forth, me kind of arguing that he said something that isn't right in one of his videos, and he kind of going back to me, telling me I'm a cherry picker. But I really like that, and that kind of lit the spark for me, even though I never really wanted to follow exactly his path, but I was kind of interested in doing something, a video content format on a platform on the internet. I really like that. But just a few numbers to begin with. So YouTube has over 2 billion monthly logged-in users. That's a quarter of the population of this planet. Quite a lot of people use YouTube, so that's quite special. And the other number that is quite interesting is that every day people watch over 1 billion hours of video on YouTube. So people watch YouTube while they work, while they brush their teeth, while they kind of bring their kids to bed with their earpod in their ear. Or that's at least what I sometimes do, unfortunately. So yeah, it's quite an influential platform. 500 plus hours of content are uploaded to YouTube every single minute of the day. And that's kind of crazy. I mean, for YouTube, this means they have to have a massive infrastructure in order to process so much data. For you guys as consumers mainly, I guess, that's kind of great because you have a lot of information on that platform. But the problem is to find the really good stuff. I mean, out of those 500 hours of content, I assume that 499 hours are probably not something that I would want to watch. So obviously that kind of depends on your own preferences, but there's a lot of it. So it's kind of difficult to find the good stuff sometimes. For me as a creator, that's obviously a big challenge because you know that you have to compete with quite a lot of information on the platform. If you think about it, when you go to youtube.com today, you kind of see 8 tiles to begin with. 8 videos that you kind of see. In the beginning, you can scroll down, but you won't scroll down for hours and hours. So there's very limited real estate on that platform. And the algorithm of YouTube kind of curates the information that you see, which is a good thing. But it takes some time for it to understand what your audience wants to watch, what my audience wants to watch. So really only the bigger channels that have uploaded content for a longer time actually benefit from being kind of pushed by YouTube. So this guy, first of all, who of you here knows who that is? Just to kind of gauge the audience here. So not too many, I'd say, maybe less than a quarter. So this is Mr. Beast, Johnny, Jimmy, who's actually one of the biggest YouTubers in the world right now. His channel is one of the few that has over 100 million subscribers. So the people who have decided that they want to subscribe to his content. He has generated, that number is close to 18 billion views. So 18 billion times someone has clicked on one of his videos. And he made, estimated by Forbes at least, $54 million last year. So between his YouTube income generated by the views, so every time you watch a YouTube video, you see ads usually. And as a creator, you get a share of the ad revenue that YouTube generates with those videos. Most of his money is probably from paid engagements. So he basically does a 60-second or 90-second ad read and makes tens of thousands of US dollars for those 60 seconds. So you can really, in some cases, it's even $1 million for larger corporations and larger collaborations. So yeah, he's quite successful with that. And the interesting thing with Jimmy is he is 24 now, started when he was 14, so 10 years ago roughly. And in the beginning, his videos were really bad. No one watched them. And he really hustled and kind of built his audience over time. So it was not like an overnight success. And that story obviously also resonates with people. This builds a pretty close relationship between the content creator, in this case, Mr. Beast, and his audience. So that is one of the very strong things when it comes to YouTube, building those relationships. When it comes to wine YouTube, the numbers look a little bit different. So you can see the 3 biggest channels in the world right now, according to subscribers on YouTube. Interestingly, Two of them are actually from South Korea, so content creators that are based in South Korea. South Korea consumes a lot of YouTube content, and that might be the reason for it. So I'm actually in the third spot right now. So if you guys have a second, get out your phone, subscribe to my channel in order to kind of finally get rid of Young Gung Wine TV and move past him. So that would be greatly appreciated. So as you can see, numbers are quite a bit smaller when it comes to wine YouTube. And the question arises, if wine content has been like available for a long time, Gary Vaynerchuk and so on and so forth, and if this content exists for a long time, why aren't more channels breaking through? Why is there not more more to garner for a wine YouTube channel? And the question might be, is the niche of wine too small? And I actually disagree with that. I think it's going to happen in the future. I think as people who are using YouTube are getting older, there will also be bigger interest in YouTube on the platform. I think Wine Spectator at least claims that their content is read by more than 3 million people worldwide. So if there are 3 million people who are actually even prepared to pay for wine content, I'm pretty sure that there are 1 million people who will be prepared to subscribe to a free YouTube channel. So I think it's going to happen. The other thing is also, there's, for example, this coffee YouTuber called James Hoffman. He was a barista and then started his own YouTube channel. He now has 1.5 million subscribers, and he makes videos that kind of where he compares different coffee machines to each other for 30 minutes, going into really deep detail. And I think if that's possible for coffee, then that should be possible for wine at some stage. Whether I'm going to be the one who will break the 1 million subscriber mark or someone else, I can't tell. I know what I'm hoping for, but we'll see. But I think that the niche is certainly big enough for a really big YouTube wine channel, at least one, if not more than one. So why am I interested in YouTube? Why should you maybe consider YouTube? Why should anyone think about creating on YouTube? First of all, like I said, there's a huge audience, but that's only one part of the story. The other part is that this huge audience can also be monetized quite well. When you look at TikTok and Instagram, there's actually no real infrastructure for the content creators to be paid. TikTok pays out a little bit of money. Instagram does that as well, but it's not really regulated, and it's more for the really big guys. With YouTube, as soon as you have more than 1,000 subscribers and have generated, I think, more than 40,000 minutes of watch time, you can switch on monetization, and you get your share of the ad revenue that a channel generates. So YouTube keeps the bulk, but you get close to 50%, a little less than that, but so a fair share, I would say. That is important because if you want to create something on the internet on a regular basis, you need to make some money from it. Otherwise, you won't sustain it. It will get too difficult to balance it with your normal job or with your other things that you have to do. So monetization is key for the success of YouTube. The other thing is storytelling. Miriam mentioned that earlier on. So you actually don't really get to tell a story on Instagram and TikTok. There will be Instagrammers and TikTok here, and I use Instagram quite a bit myself. That will argue with that point, but I just don't think that you can build a story arc in a 60-second reel or on a photo post. On YouTube, some of my videos are 20 minutes long, so I actually get to interact with my audience, tell them something. I have time to explain something in detail. I can take them out into the vineyard and talk about the vines, and then go back into my studio and finish it off there. So there are much more opportunities there. So there's real storytelling, and this really builds a relationship with your audience. They think they know me better than they would if I would just dance on TikTok, because nobody wants to see that anyways. But you know what I mean. And I actually get to tell them, go into detail with them, talk about things in a little bit more detail than just the bullet points. The other thing is, you build a library on YouTube. You build a channel with content that will be watched in the future. On TikTok and Instagram, everything is for the moment. With Instagram, it's even in the name, and TikTok kind of as well. So the clock is ticking. As soon as you post, the clock starts ticking, and at some point, the information will not really be shown anymore. With YouTube, some of my older videos, like videos that are months old or a year old, they are amongst my best performing videos for the last 28 days. So people keep watching the stuff. You build a library that people get to access. YouTube is the second biggest search engine after Google. So you can actually search for things on YouTube and find videos that are a year old or 2 years old. And when it comes to wine, things don't change that much. The way I open a bottle, if you want to show that to your audience, doesn't necessarily change. That will be relevant for the next year. You can still watch the first video on YouTube that is 17 years old today. So it's still available. It might not be that interesting, but it's still available. And with YouTube, you can actually benefit from that in the future. So how do you do it? So I would argue the first thing you really have to do is to find your niche. When it comes to me, it's obviously wine, but you can go even more detail. So you don't just have to stick with wine. You can you can produce vlogs where you travel to wine growing regions and talk about the wine growing region and visit winemakers, for example. You could make videos only about glasses and the way the glasses look and the way they bring out certain characteristics in the wine. For me, it's tasting videos. So I do lots of different videos, but the stuff that performs the best is when I taste wines, when I explain wines to my audience. That's obviously kind of, anyways, one of my strengths, to be able to taste well, have a good palate. And that's what my audience wants to see the most. The other thing is find your voice. So you can either say, hello, my name is Konstantin Baum, or you can go, I'm a master of wine, baby. Well, that was super silly, but it's obviously not just about the way you talk. It's also about the way you communicate everything. So you can pace yourself, you can speak very slowly, you can speak very fast, but it's also about the way you present your information. There are YouTubers who use GoPros, so very, very good, but not great quality cameras that don't bring out everything you want to show maybe in a video. I use pretty high-end stuff, so I've got lots of cameras, really good cameras. I want to have good sound, good lighting. That obviously also limits myself in the way the things that I can do, because I can't carry that around everywhere and produce the same quality of content. But you need to decide what you want to do and how you want to show it. So that's what I mean with find your voice. Find your audience is another thing. So while you are producing content, you will find an audience. In the beginning, there's no one there. You are standing alone on a stage. The room is empty. You still have to talk. That's kind of what I was scared about when I arrived here, just being here all by myself. But over time, people will come, and they might stick around if they like what you're saying. So that's the way you build your audience. In the beginning, you really have to find people from other platforms. Maybe you're strong on Instagram. You get them over to YouTube and try to engage them there. Or you're good on TikTok, you get them to YouTube to share more content with them on YouTube. Then YouTube will start understanding what kind of people watch your stuff, who wants to see your videos. And the algorithm then will give your content to more people that are similar. So the algorithm learns, and that's why growth on YouTube is very often exponential. So in the beginning, it's very slow, but at some stage, once you are one of the bigger channels, it's actually easier to add subscribers at a much, much faster rate. In the beginning, I was happy to have 1 subscriber per day. Today, I'm happy when I have a few hundred subscribers per day or 1,000 subscribers a day. So this is how how things change over time. And the other thing is be patient. So you just have to wait sometimes. Good things come to people who wait, and YouTube is difficult. It's more difficult than kind of getting out your phone, posting a selfie, and I mean, that can be difficult as well, don't get me wrong. But for YouTube, you have to understand camera equipment, you have to edit, you have to do much more stuff than you would have to do when posting photos on Instagram or TikTok, or if you're making videos for those platforms. I do that as well, and I know that like producing a reel takes far less time than producing a 15-minute video for YouTube. It's just different. The other option, obviously, and this is kind of the part where I insert the shameless plug, is to find the right creator to work with. I mean, if you want to be a creator yourself, that's kind of different. You can collaborate with other creators. But if you are an organization, a company, and you want to be successful on YouTube, it is quite a good idea to find someone who has already found their voice, found their audience, and work with them in order to promote your brand, your organization, your region, whatever. So that's obviously much more cost efficient in many ways. You have to spend more on that one collaboration maybe than you would on a video, but you also don't have to spend years and years uploading videos that no one wants to watch. And I see quite a lot of those videos, to be honest, on the YouTube channels of wine producing regions, really high quality videos done by really great videographers that no one wants to watch, or no one watches because you can't find it. It's maybe not as catchy as it could be. It's not created for the platform. So sometimes having a creator, working with a creator, is much more efficient.
Italian Wine Podcast, part of the Mama Jumbo Shrimp family.
So now, as a bit of a treat, and as we are, as far as I understand, are sharing business ideas, I kind of want to share something with you that I haven't shared with anyone so far. Obviously, this video I've shared with other people, but I'm going to show you some numbers. So I'm going to show you how this video became a big success. This was a big success, not only for my channel, but I believe it's the most viewed video by a wine channel ever on YouTube. So it's right now at 2.2 million views. So I'm kind of giving you like a little sneaky look into what happens when one of your pieces of content go viral. So the story of this basically was I found this bottle of 159-year-old wine in my cellar. And that's not I didn't make that up. I actually sometimes get bottles of friends and relatives with old wines. And oftentimes I just go, yeah, come on, give it to me. I'll taste it. But I'm not expecting great things usually because most of my friends and relatives don't have great wines in their cellar. So amongst those bottles, there was this bottle of 1863 Burmester port wine, a Coleta. And I didn't realize it at the time. When I went through my cellar, I kind of saw that bottle, thought this is interesting, sent a photo to a friend of mine who's a real expert in port. And he actually said, yeah, that's a 159-year-old wine. And I was like, okay, cool. That's an interesting story. So let's make a video out of it. So why this video went viral, I don't 100% know. One thing I understood right away when I saw this title and the thumbnails, I created them, but when I saw them in front of me was that this is going to do well. Because the thumbnail and the title are really important on YouTube. You basically, that's all there is for people to suck you in. You can produce a great video. If they don't like the thumbnail or the title, they will not click on the video. And that means no one will watch your video. So here I basically try to be as simplistic as possible. You see the 1863, so you know it's an old bottle, magnified by a magnifying glass that wasn't there, that I edited in. My face kind of looking scary because you want to create a little bit of suspense in order to attract a wide audience. And then you have the port tongs there. I'm actually not so happy about the port tongs today. I mean, the video, the thumbnail worked, but I would do it slightly different. But it kind of looks a bit funny. You see the glowing bit. I think only people from the wine world would have understood what that is. But anyways, then you have the title, Drinking a 159-year-old Wine, Poison or Perfection. So it's really easy to understand, I think, for everyone. It's old, 159 years. I've never tasted a wine that is this old, people would have thought. And the bit poison or perfection might seem a little bit ridiculous, because we all know that it's not going to be poison. But in my comments of that video, I saw quite a lot of people who actually just came to watch this video and see whether I'm going to die. Yeah, so they were hoping for the wine to be poison. I mean, that's the beauty of social media. It generated views, so I'm not going to complain about it. So this is kind of, and I know that I have to be aware of time, but I think we're still good. This is kind of what happened over the first 24 hours. So actually, one of the great things about YouTube is that you get lots of data. Google is really good at giving you data, graphs, and all that. And this is kind of what you see in the back end. That's what I see for my channel, for individual videos, or the channel in general. So over the first 24 hours, the video was watched 2.1 times as often as a normal video. My channel was quite a bit smaller back then, so I was really pleased with 18.7 thousand views in 24 hours. I was kind of like, wow, this is awesome. The watch time was obviously also high, even though the video was shorter than most of my videos, so it was just 10 minutes long. But I thought, wow, 457 subscribers. That was a big number. I think back then that was like the biggest number I ever had in a day. So that was kind of giving me some good feelings. I was kind of going, well, this could be really interesting. You can also see the revenue. So that's what Google was estimating they're going to pay me for the first 24 hours of that video. So 50 euros, that's cool. I take it. Definitely not worth the investment if that's all, opening a bottle of 159-year-old wine. But then again, I didn't pay for it, so I was pleased. But I also saw this bit here, which kind of, so the graph kind of moved up a little bit. So I was kind of going, well, this might go somewhere. This is hopefully not the end. So, and that was the first 10 days. So you can see over the course of the first 10 days, it roughly generated 1.2 million views, 11.5 thousand new subscribers. I think back then I had like 38,000 subscribers when the video was posted. So that was a big push for my channel. And the revenue was 2,500 euros. But what I really liked, and actually, I mean, this was exciting for me, at least at the time. I kind of woke up at night sometimes and checked my app, my YouTube app, and another 100,000 views for that video. But the high point was basically this, 380,000 views in one day. So that was kind of, that was very special. I mean, I think Verona is at 250,000 inhabitants. Florence is, I think, roughly 380,000 people. So like imagining a whole city watching your video in one day. That was really cool. But obviously things went down again afterwards. So the video is still watched a lot of times per day, but it's not at that level anymore. But this kind of shows you the power of YouTube. So in a very short amount of time, lots of people suddenly learned that wine can be aged for 159 years and can still be delicious. By the way, I didn't even mention that, but yeah, the wine was delicious. So watch the video to find out everything, but it was just beautiful. They also learned that wine isn't poisonous necessarily after 159 years. And quite a lot of those people were actually all of a sudden more interested in wine. So it wasn't just good for me, for my channel. I think it was also really good for lots of people in the wine industry. I had actually comments of people saying, I'm Muslim, I don't drink alcohol, but I still watched this video and really enjoyed it. So people who never really interacted with wine all of a sudden knew a little bit more about wine, just through the power of one video. And I also kind of thought, after a while, Burmester, the port company, that I actually gave quite a lot of promotion for free. Yeah? They didn't pay me a dime. They didn't even say thank you for the video. I don't have any hard feelings there. But how much might this be for them? Like in terms of how much advertisement was it for the company of Burmester that I posted this video? And I calculated it using baseline numbers for normal cost per views. That's how you count things in the industry. And the video should have cost Burmester $45,000. So they should have paid me $45,000 instead of me opening this bottle for free. But I'm fine. I don't mind. I'm happy. I'm happy that the video did well and that it did something for wine in general. So the key takeaways, and then we are kind of doing a little bit of Q&A, I guess. YouTube is huge, searchable, and here to stay. It's a big platform. It's not going anywhere. I'm quite bullish that YouTube will do really well for the foreseeable future, continue to grow and produce even better creators that make better videos than I do. It allows for really deep engagement with the audience. And I think that's really the distinguishing factor to other social media platforms. On YouTube, you can really get into the heads of your audience, really tell them a story and really provide value, more than you can on most of the other platforms. It's also the only platform with a clear payment structure that is quite democratic. I think that's important for creators and for the quality of content on YouTube in the future. And for me at least, it is hard work, but it's worth it. It's something really enjoyable. For me, the best moments are not necessarily when a video goes viral, even though I like that too. But the best moments were moments like when I went to this little winery in the Pfalz to talk to the winemaker. And all of a sudden, I've had the feeling that something changed in the room. There was someone behind me, a younger guy, maybe 25. He was like, I can't believe you're here. I've been watching your videos for such a long time. I was studying chemical engineering and I was miserable. I hated it. And your videos convinced me to change careers and get into wine. And now I'm working here and soon I'll be creating my own wine label. That's kind of really powerful. And I think that really shows how powerful this platform can be for content creators and for their audiences. So thank you, and I'm happy to answer some questions.
Thank you, Konstantin. Do you have some questions? I have one. Then Felix, I give you a mic. As a wine producers, what would you give some advice to the wine producers about the communication, about how we have to communicate better, I think?
On YouTube or
No, in general. Actually,
well,
general.
I think if you're like on a social media platform, your content or what you do has to be also entertaining. I'm trying to be educational, but it always has to be entertaining. And what I see quite often is that the content either is just entertaining and not very educational, so there's not a lot of value being created for the audience. They don't learn anything. Or it's very educational and not really engaging, not really entertaining for the audience. So I think the key is kind of finding the balance between being entertaining and being educational. For me, as a German, Stevie mentioned it earlier, we are not very funny in general. So I really had to practice hard. I had to go to clown university to get a little bit funny at least. But yeah, I mean, you don't have to be funny, but you have to be entertaining, I think, in order to keep the audience's attention on any platform, basically.
Also muss ich sagen, danke. Das war sehr geil und sehr toll und super interessant. Yeah, I know.
Yes,
But
bye.
come on, give me a moment
Yeah,
to connect.
yeah, exactly. Give him a round of applause for the German here.
No, but I wanted to ask you how you are reacting to the shorts, to the short spectrum,
Yeah.
and how are you going to change your videos with the shorts? Is the same strategy? Are there two strategies for it? How are you reacting to the shorts game?
Yeah, I mean, YouTube introduced Shorts kind of as a response to what TikTok is doing and what Instagram Reels are doing. They are performing really well, so YouTube kind of had the feeling they have to do something in order not for them not to lose ground in the video game. And I actually don't consume all that much short content, but I think it's great. For me personally, everything that I produce has to be educational, entertaining, and excellent, at least as excellent as I can be with my small means. And I think I can do that in shorts as well. So I'm going to start producing shorts pretty soon. I'm finishing the concept of it because there has to be some concept. It won't be me dancing with a bottle of wine in my hand, but yeah, I'm going to do it because I think it's great to have this format to kind of get more people interested in wine, get them engaged, and I think that format works really well. And on top of that, the great thing about shorts is you can actually produce the same video, put it on YouTube Shorts, on Instagram Reels, and TikTok, and the audience overlap is actually not that big. So you can produce the same content for different platforms. Obviously, the performance will depend a little bit on that platform, but you can actually generate quite a bit of reach just by reusing the same content on different platforms. So yeah, I'm going to do it, and I think it's a good tool for sure. I don't know who was next, but do we have a?
Thank you. Great presentation. My question is what kind of equipment should you invest in if you wanted to start, today? What kind of equipment should you invest in to make it happen?
Yeah, I mean, I think so. So I now have quite a good studio setup. I basically have two cameras that are worth 5,000 euros or something combined, and a great mic and light and all that kind of stuff. But you don't need that in the beginning. So in the beginning, you basically need a good camera, like a 600 euro camera. You don't even have to have that. You can also use your phone, but I think that's something you should invest in. Have a good external microphone because sound is always important. Soundproof your studio, whatever it might be, your kitchen or whatever. Make sure that the sound is good because the sound is super important for engagement. The video can drop off every now and then, but if the sound stops for 10 seconds, then no one is going to watch anymore. So I think, yeah, having a good camera, a good microphone, lighting is actually super cheap. Usually, good lighting is not very expensive. So I think with 600 euros, you can have a pretty decent studio setup already. But yeah, you can also just go for the iPhone version. I think that doesn't get you all the way, but in the beginning, that might be useful. I think what you should really invest in is practice. So making sure that your performance is good in front of the camera. It took me a long time to feel a little bit comfortable in front of a camera, and that's something you can do for free. It's just your time basically that goes into it. Yeah.
Can you talk a little bit about how long you were on the platform and the different formats of videos you experimented with before you were able to connect with an audience?
Yeah, sure. I mean, I basically created my YouTube account in 2014, so a long time ago. I made a few videos in German back then, and don't try to find them. They are set on private, so no one sees them. I'm not one of those people who wants to have their bad videos out there for the rest of their lives. And then I kind of stopped. I set up my company, and I was really busy, and I didn't really have time for YouTube, and I just maybe did one video per year maximum. And then in 2020, so back then I had maybe 600 subscribers, so not a lot. Considering that I have quite a lot of followers on Instagram, that's not a lot. And then in 2020, COVID hit, and I was kind of like, I travel quite a lot normally. I always wanted to do this YouTube thing. I can't travel right now, so why not use that time and invest it into YouTube? So my real YouTube journey with an English-speaking channel in that format started 2.5 years ago, and yeah, it grew from there. So in the beginning, everything on YouTube is kind of flat, and then you start getting traction, and then it's really waves. So you get a video that does well, and it goes back, but not quite as low as it was before, and then another video hits, and it goes up, and then back, not quite as low as before. And yeah, over time, you might get up there somewhere. You might not. It kind of depends on your content. But it's a question also of you listening to your audience and understanding what they want in order to build your audience. Yeah.
Yeah, really great talk, by the way. Really enjoyed it. I know that the shorts and TikTok and Instagram love captioning, and I see the value there fully. What are your views on captioning, and have you seen it working or improving your viewership?
Yeah, thanks, Hobie. First of all, thanks a lot for your talk. That was brilliant as well. I wanted to talk to you earlier because I actually did a seminar with you in California a few years ago when I was there with an MW trip, and that was so amazing. So thanks for your talks. So captioning, yeah, I think that's really important, and that's something that I'm not investing a lot of time in. So my subtitles are auto-generated by YouTube, and YouTube does a fairly good job. But when it comes to my, like wine terms, like when I talk about Crus in Burgundy, it completely butchers the names usually. And my last name, Baum, sometimes comes out as Baum. So that doesn't quite work. But there's lots of potential there. And I was considering getting a Korean to translate my closed captioning into Korean, because I know that there are lots of people watching videos in Korea that can't necessarily understand what I do. So yeah, I think there's lots of potential there, but it's quite a lot of work. I speak a few languages, but I can't really sit down and spend hours and hours translating the closed captioning. But there's lots of potential. Mr. Beast, the guy I mentioned earlier, he's now doing dubbed videos. So he has a Mr. Beast in Espanol channel where he does all of his normal videos just dubbed. So someone else speaks Spanish, and it's all translated, and that works really well for him. So yeah, maybe something for the future, but yeah, not so much right now. You're welcome. That's another thing.
So before we close, I do have a question. How much time are you dedicating in the production of your videos?
So the production is actually, I have a guy who does purchase the wine, and because I buy pretty much all of the wines that I open, I bought myself, or paid for at least. So I got a guy who buys the wines, who finds out all the information on the wines, so I don't have to do that. But I write my scripts and do quite a bit of research. I don't do the editing anymore because that was kind of destroying my Sundays and my family life. So I was kind of getting up at 5 o'clock on Sundays editing videos, and my wife wasn't having it anymore. So I have someone who does that now. But yeah, so I still spend at least a day per week on creating the content that goes onto YouTube. So I still record it myself. I write the script. I obviously check the app excessively. So quite a lot of time, I guess.
And what about your demographics? Because Wine King, his demographic is predominantly Korean. Yeah. Right? Sure. What about, are they predominantly German?
No. Most of them come from the US, actually. And Germany is in there on the third spot, I think. UK, Germany, and then it's kind of from all over. I actually did a few videos with Jay from Wine King over the course of the last weeks. I was traveling to Korea, and we shot some videos together. So maybe the Korean share will grow. Let's see. But yeah, it's mainly US. It's not quite a third, but more than a quarter from the US.
Okay, so I think we have a lot of questions, but I have to close up because we have 2 more shows to go. So let's give it up for Konstantin, the YouTuber, the MW, and of course Miriam. Thank you very much, and I'm sure you have questions that you can,
sure. I'll be
with
here
the
for a few hours, so.
Thank you very much.
Listen to the Italian Wine Podcast wherever you get your podcasts. We're on SoundCloud, Apple Podcasts, Spotify, Himalaya FM, and more. Don't forget to subscribe and rate the show. If you enjoy listening, please consider donating through ItalianWinePodcast.com. Any amount helps cover equipment, production, and publication costs. Until next time, cin cin.